What's up, gamers? Confused by the toughest GPU market in years with crazy pricing and RAMpocalypse chaos? We're breaking down the top 5 graphics cards that actually make sense right now despite the insanity. Welcome back to Gamer Picks. Today we're talking graphics cards, the toughest recommendations I can remember making. I've tested pretty much every AMD and Nvidia GPU this generation, Intel Battle Mage, RTX Blackwell, RDNA 4, the whole lot. Higher prices, RAMpocalypse shortages, and performance nuance make this wild. From budget RTX 5050 to flagship RTX 5090, these cards make sense despite market chaos. All product links are in the description. Smash that subscribe button because we ruthlessly benchmark every GPU. NVIDIA RTX 5050. The best budget graphics card starting at number 5, the NVIDIA RTX 5050. The best budget GPU by hair's breadth in difficult times. Around $260 pricing makes this cheapest new card alongside Intel Arc B570. At 1080p, the RTX 5050 posts 11% higher average frame rates than Intel at 57 frames per second versus 51 frames per second, near 60 frames per second performance at highest settings in demanding games without upscaling. 6% faster at 1440p too. Reliable and relatively cheap without Intel's driver issues plaguing Cyberpunk 2077 and others. What works is the reliability over Intel. When prices are similar, accepting driver mess makes less sense. 8GB GDDR6 handles 1080p gaming fine despite rabid hate for that capacity. Not exciting, doesn't replace last gen equivalent, actually behind RTX 4060 performance. But reliability matters at budget. Intel B570 leads slightly at 4K thanks to 10GB VRAM, but you're not buying $260 GPU for 4K gaming anyway. RTX 5060 offers 28% higher 1080p performance and 36% more at 1440p for just 15% more cash. Far superior if budget stretches. Only winning by hair's breadth over Arc B570. Perfect for restrictive budget gamers needing reliable 1080p performance around $250 without driver headaches. 4. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. The best high-end graphics card number 4, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. Undoubtedly the best high-end graphics card and likely remaining that way for next 2 years at least. Most powerful consumer GPU on planet, delivering gaming performance far beyond other GPUs, especially with multi-frame generation support. 32GB GDDR7 with 1792GB per second bandwidth and 21,760 shaders at 104.8 teraflops is absurd computational grunt. Sure, only 30% extra gen on gen over RTX 409, at 4K, smallest bump since Turing, but multi-frame generation is magic trick. MFG adds up to 3 more frames between each rendered pair using flip metering enhanced silicon in display engine. Offloads frame pacing burden from CPU to GPU, queuing AI-generated frames perfectly for display with practically no extra latency. New AI FG model is 40% quicker and 30% less VRAM hungry. Tons of games with immediate compatibility either natively or via DLSS override in NVIDIA app. Most powerful for creator tasks too thanks to hefty 32GB GDDR7 and massive bandwidth plus Gen AI excellence. Founders Edition deliciously slimline fitting smallest SFF chassis despite heat generation. First chips with shaders having direct Tensor Core access, enabling AI-powered gaming features. $1,999 MSRP with $400 hike over RTX 4090, but third-party cards looking $2,500 plus right now with stock issues. 575 watts TGP demands serious PSU and cooling. AMD not releasing competitor in RDNA 4 means this remains king. The graphics card for gamers wanting absolute finest silicon and feature set regardless of price. 3. AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. The best mid-range graphics card number 3, the AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. Best mid-range card, though term stretches mightily by GPU regularly retailing over $700. Once straight fight with RTX 5070 Ti, but current pricing creates almost $300 difference, making GeForce almost $1,000 foolish purchase. Performance delta really isn't that great. Look at benchmark numbers and see how close they are, especially with overclocking. Impressive headroom accessed via undervolting gives thermal room unlocking higher clocks and frame rates without increasing power or thermals much. Free frames. FSR4 represents fundamental machine learning change, bringing AMD in line with Nvidia approach. Running 4K with FSR4. Performance mode challenges. You telling difference from native 4K render and normal gameplay without pixel peeping. 48.66 teraflops with 4096 shaders and 16GB. GDDR6 at 640GB per second bandwidth delivers serious performance. RX 9070 less than $100 cheaper delivers impressive performance in own right as our overall pick. Price could go higher, though AMD remarkably resilient to hikes versus RTX 5070 Ti successive increases. 304 watts, TGP demands adequate cooling. Perfect for tweakers wanting next step up without $1,000 spending and close RTX 5070 Ti performance. 2. AMD Radeon RX 9060 XT 16GB. The best value graphics card number 2, the AMD Radeon RX 9060 XT 16GB. Picking up genuine 16GB card with seriously performant core for around $400 is pretty great. Third tier RDNA 4 delivering performance parity with more expensive RTX 5060 Ti, less than 1% behind at 1080p, only 3% behind at 1440p. Impressive, considering our benchmarking gauntlet includes hefty ray tracing workloads where AMD historically struggled. New RDNA 4 architecture changed how Radeon handles ray tracing with more dedicated silicon, making all the difference. What makes this brilliant value is the 16GB VRAM without spending ton of cash. MSRP $349, regularly available well under $400 even in price inflated times. Solid, pretty low power GPU standing toe to toe with more expensive Nvidia cards. Memory-intensive modern games make that extra VRAM headroom valuable at 1440p. Not sexy, not fastest, but honest GPU delivering good gaming performance at most popular resolutions with top settings. RTX 5060 Ti 16GB around $450 is overall faster with more overclocking potential if budget stretches. Productivity performance favors Nvidia over AMD gaming focus. For budget gamers wanting lots of VRAM and bang for buck under $400 at 1080p and 1440p. 1. AMD Radeon RX 9070, the best overall graphics card, and our number 1 pick, the AMD Radeon RX 9070. Agonizing pick with inevitable caveats, but makes most sense to most PC gamers. Not most powerful GPU you can buy, but the one I'd suggest to PC gaming friends. Close to RX 9070 XT performance. Still packs 16GB GDDR6, easily overclocked without demanding much more cooling or power, handily outperforms similarly priced lower spec RTX 5070, generally under $600 with very similar gaming performance to $700 plus XT, especially with judicious undervolting. What makes this ultimate value is the extra raster performance over RTX 5070 and how close it gets to more expensive RTX 5070 Ti and RX 9070 XT, with ray tracing updates baked into RDNA 4. Now fantastic all-around card nailing 1440p and 1080p at top settings. Easy driver tweaks boost performance within couple percentage points of XT and Ti without stressing card. Initial review was cool because XFX hiked price out gate, making it more than reference XT. As things evened out, reliably cheaper RX 9070 cards around. remarkably resilient to spiking GPU prices thanks to ongoing RAMpocalypse versus Nvidia alternatives. The graphics card for most PC gamers wanting high 1440p performance without almost $1,000 price points. So there you have it, gamers. The top 5 graphics cards making sense despite the toughest GPU market in years. From budget reliability to flagship dominance, there's perfect card for every gamer navigating this chaos. Want most sense for most gamers? AMD RX 9070 is the pick. Best value VRAM RX 9060 XT 16GB. Tightest budget RTX 5050 delivers reliability. Absolute best RTX 5090 is untouchable. Which GPU matches your build and budget? Drop a comment with your current card and upgrade plans. Hit that like button if this helped navigate the GPU chaos, and subscribe for more graphics card guides. All GPU links are in the description with current pricing. Good luck finding stock. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Game on!